Hello hunters, welcome back to the channel, I'm Peppo. Today we are diving into endgame longsword builds. I'll show you the 3 setups I'm currently using to farm tempered monsters. I've already discussed them on my Twitch live streams, but if you missed those, don't worry, I'll break down all the skill choices and the best longswords to use in this video. There are 3 variations of the same build that I want to show you. Depending on your preferences and the weapons you have, you can pick the one that suits you best. The first build is made by Jin the Had Helm, Arc Weld Chest, Guardian Arc Weld Arms, Gore Coil, and Gore Greaves. For the talisman I'm using Exploiter Charm 2nd. The decorations on the arm are 3 Mighty, 1 Counter, 1 Challenger, 1 Chain, 1 Counter Attack, 3 Sheath, and 2 Sane Jewels. The armor skills that you get are Weakness Exploit 5, Maximum Might 3, Antivirus 3, Quick Shift 3, Constitution 2, Agitator 2, Adrenaline Rush 1, Burst 1, Counter Strike 1, and Flinch Free 1. Weakness Exploit increases affinity by 30% when hitting a monster's weak point, and adds a 20% affinity on top of that when you hit a wound. It's one of the few skills that you always want to keep at max. Then we have Maximum Might, which increases affinity when the stamina is kept full. More specifically, Maximum Might deactivates 2 seconds after stamina consumption, but if the stamina gets back at full before 2 seconds, you keep Maximum Might active. What's more, the skill activates almost 3 seconds after the stamina is full. The only important move of the longsword kit that consumes stamina is Force Slash. However, you need to consider 2 things. First, Maximum Might is very easy to slot in since it's a level 2 deco, and even though you won't use it on the Force Slash and the following Spirit Round Slash, keep in mind that all the rest of the moves will make use of it, including Crimson Slash and Spirit Blade combo, Helm Breaker and Spirit Release Slash. Secondly, in the build we are running we have Constitution 2, which reduces the stamina consumption by 20%, and it stacks with the food skill Black Belt. These will reduce the stamina consumption, so Maximum Might will activate back quicker. Antivirus works together with the set bonus skill from Gore Magala, Black Eclipse Burst. Put it simply, fighting large monsters will auto-inflict the Frenzy Virus, and once you overcome it, you get 15% affinity. Antivirus adds a 10% affinity for a total of 25. I know the description says 15%, but it's not true, it gives you 10% affinity. You can easily test it and see it by yourself. The description, unfortunately, it's wrong. Quick Shift is the only thing that matters. No, I'm joking. This is not as broken as in Dry Sunbreak, but it's still faster than Iceborne. You definitely want to use it if you use the Esprit Slash, and you should use this counter because it's much stronger than Force Slash, and does not consume stamina when you perform it. Agitator at level 2 is needed to reach 100% affinity for this build. My weapon has a base affinity of 10%. Weakness Exploit adds 30%, Maximum Might is another 30%, Antivirus and Gore's set bonus skill is 25, so in total I have 95% affinity. With Agitator at level 2 I get 5%, so it's perfectly 100% affinity. You also get plus 8 attack when a large monster becomes enraged. Adrenaline Rush is a fantastic skill for longsword. When you do a perfectly timed evade, you get plus 10 attack at level 1. However, with longsword there is an easy way to proc it. You don't have to dodge a monster's attack by rolling. You just need to time a Force Slash. Yeah, it's that easy. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on the Iceborne Slash though, and the skill lasts for 30 seconds. Burst is a skill you always want to have at least at level 1. It grants plus 8 attack and plus 60 element after landing 5 hits, but you need to keep the hits within 3 seconds of each other, or the effect will expire. Luckily, the longsword is pretty fast in wilds, so maintaining this bonus isn't an issue. Next we have Counter Strike, a skill that grants plus 10 attack when you get knocked back, or at least that's what the description says. But there's a trick to activating it without actually getting knocked back. If you use a move with Hyper Armor against an attack that would normally knock you back, the skill will still activate. For example, Spirit Thrust and Spirit Release Slash both work, and even Force Slash and Yai Spirit Slash provides 1 and 2 seconds of Hyper Armor after a successful counter. Not to mention Focus Strike, which grants Hyper Armor for the entire duration of the attack. So if you time it right, you will not get knocked back thanks to Hyper Armor, but you will still trigger Counter Strike. Pretty amazing, right? Oh, and the buff lasts for 30 seconds, just like Adrenaline Rush. Lastly, we have Flinch Free. Not that useful if I have to be honest, but it comes for free from Gore Magala's Greaves. It can be valuable only if you play in multiplayer, so that players cannot make you flinch. For the longsword choice, Artian weapons are the best option. They outclass craftable longswords simply because of their triple level 3 decoration slots, allowing for more weapon skills. At the time of making this video, longsword doesn't benefit much from elemental damage. especially after Capcom nerfed Crimson Slash elemental motion value from 1 to 0.7. Because of this, you should focus on raw attack and affinity as much as possible. That means you should aim for at least critical boost level 3 on your weapon, but critical boost level 5 has to be preferred, critical eye if your affinity is low, and skills that help you with sharpness management, like Master Touch, Razor Sharp, and Handicraft. Personally, I prefer running a Razor Sharp 3 Handicraft 1 duel. When building Artian weapons, I always recommend prioritizing attack for the production bonuses. For reinforcement bonuses, you will need at least 2 attack upgrades. 3 is better and 4 is ideal, plus 1 sharpness or 1-2 affinity. You don't need elemental or status bonuses, and you don't want too much sharpness either. 1 sharpness bonus is enough. If you end up with 2 sharpness bonuses, you can drop the Razor Sharp Handicraft duel and go for attack boost instead. The second and third builds are variations of the first one. Same chest, arms, coil and legs, but with different helms and talisman. For the first variation, we will use the Guardian Rathalos helm and the counter jewel third talisman. This setup trades 2 levels of Agitator for 1 level of Partbreaker and 2 levels of Counter Strike. It's a great choice if you don't need the extra 5% affinity from Agitator. At level 3, Counter Strike lasts 45 seconds instead of 30, and grants plus 25 attack, which is huge. Partbreaker, on the other hand, makes it easier to break monster parts and should boost damage by 10% when using Focus Strike on a wound. I say should because unfortunately the skill is currently bugged and doesn't provide the full bonus. Hopefully Capcom will fix it in the next patch. The third build uses the Guardian Arcveld helm to activate the set bonus skill Decimator first, which heals you when you destroy a wound. It's a really comfy skill to have. You also get 2 points of flair, which at the time of making this video is actually the strongest level for quickly creating wounds, even more than level 3, 4 or even 5. Yeah, this skill is bugged too. On top of that, you get Partbreaker at level 1. All of this comes at the cost of 2 levels of Agitator. Not a bad trade-off, right? And that's it for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. It really helps out. I also want to remind you that I stream on Twitch every evening at 8:30 PM Central European Time, which is 11:30 AM Pacific Time, so feel free to drop by and hang out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!